Welcome to this video. Hi, I'm Katerina Gassett with Create with Katerina, and today I am going to show you maybe if we have time, 3 amazing hauls that I've done for fabrics. So sometimes you just run into the best deals of your lifetime. Now, I have videos out for you. You can look in my description. You can look in my YouTube channel under hauls. I have a playlist called hauls. And if you go there, I share all my hauls from Temu, from Hobby Lobby, from Michael's, from Joann's when they were around. I share my thrift store when I'm going thrifting, things that my neighbors give to me or friends give to me. And then Facebook Marketplace, which is an amazing place to get fabrics from. And if you collect denims like I do, so I love to do jean upcycling, and I love denim, to work with denim and to make all kinds of things out of denim. And I just need more hours in a day, right? I need to clone myself? No, because I don't want to clone myself because I want to feel it. So I just need 36 hours in a day and not 24, okay? So anyway, I'm just so excited about all these things that I'm doing, and I get some pretty amazing scores on jeans where I buy them for $2. Either I get them free or I get them for $2 a jean. The most I will pay is $3, and that's if I can. And sometimes I'll do $5 if I know I can sell it, though, without tearing it apart. So if I can take it and put it on my eBay store and I can make at least $10 from it, sometimes I will buy them for $5, but I would have to get 20 back. And most of the time, most of the brands that people are selling for $5 are not going to sell for 20 on eBay. So I do that, and I don't care what condition they're in, if I'm getting them for either $2 or for free. So I just made a deal with a lady on Facebook. The next week I'm picking it up. She has a huge Tupperware container full of jeans and then already scrapped up ones that she was planning to make quilts with, and then decided she's going in a different direction. And I got that. She was asking like 50, and I told her I would give her 30. And it's well worth 30 because there's at least, I don't know, 15 pairs of jeans in there, plus scraps and plus pieces she's already cut up, which I can use. It saves me time from cutting. So I did that with her. I'm trying to think of other jeans. The last lady I got was 4 pairs for $10. No, yeah, I think I got 4 or 5 pairs for $10 just the other day. Anyway, I get that all the time. So I look for them, pay Venmo right away so they hold them, because a lot of times I can't just get up and go. So I only certain days do I go out of my house because I work from home and I own 3 companies. So there's too much to do. Plus I have 2 grandchildren that live with me. And so there's a lot to do. So the first one I want to show you today is a Facebook Marketplace haul that I did for $10. So I'm going to lift this up. It's heavy. This was all, we're going to go through it. This was all for $10, and it's all upholstery fabric. And why do I love upholstery fabric? Because you can make really beautiful tote bags, purses, and bags out of them, book sleeves. You can make those things so nice, and you don't have to quilt them. So they're just so, it's like buying duck cloth. I love duck cloth as well. But for $10, that's way better than me going to pay on Hobby Lobby when it's on sale, like $4.99 or something a yard for duck cloth. So this was and they're all good size pieces. So this is, this is the first time I'm going to take them apart. This is the first one. Now you all know that I do the vintage. So I have 2 niches. I have the FAIRYCORE niche, but I also have my vintage niche. So for my vintage niche, I try to upcycle, like my denim and stuff. I try to upcycle my products. Here, I'll just show you real quick. Sorry. So I like to upcycle. So for instance, I make scrunchies. These ones are made from an old piece of fabric from a long time ago, like from the 70s. So these are scrunchies I've made. I have more on my Etsy shop where I make them from pants. I make them from old blouses, dresses, and things like that are vintagey. Then I make scrunchies also, and these are all extra large, so it's for people who have thick hair, out of fabrics that have a vintage look to them. So like this one has a vintagey kind of look to them. And same with my bags, same with my tote bags and my book sleeves, my things like that. So this is very vintagey looking. So I try to stop talking when I hold it up because I have a feeling that you can't hear me with the camera. The mic is over there. So let's see how much this is, and let's read about it as well. Oh, I came across a fabric the other day that it says I can't use it for resale. I was like shocked. It was in one of the big deals that I got on Facebook Marketplace. You know, I buy the fabric like in bulk. And I wonder where it is. It wasn't a lot. It was just a little piece. So I said, okay, well, I have to make something for the kids with that, or my grandkids with that, because I'm not going to be able to sell it. But this one says an original balloon craft screen print. And let's see how this is wide. Upholstery fabrics tend to be wide. So this is 40 inches. So it's not as wide as I would think. Let's see how much yardage there is. I think it's like 3. Let me push these away so I can measure. So right in front of me is my mat, which goes up to 47 inches. And so I know where the 36 mark is. That's why I do that on the camera with you. 1, 2, yeah. So this is 3 yards. Now remember, I got the entire pile for $10. The entire pile. This alone is worth more than $10. This 3, you could easily sell this for $5 a yard if you're trying to get rid of it, right? What I'm trying to do is not throw everything each time I do a video, because then after the video, I have so much freaking work to do. Okay, then there was this beautiful, beautiful pink one. This looks like they did some kind of a lining or curtains or something with this. And this is 2 yards. And I would use this, yeah, I would use this for linings or scrunchies. But I have so much, I get my scrunchie fabric I get from Wholesale Fabric Direct for $2.99 a yard. So I have plenty of that over here on these 2 cubbies right there. I'll show you. This one from here to here is all my scrunchy charmeuse fabrics. So I think this would be nice as a liner. I'll just fold it this way for now. And then we have this one, super thick. This is, I would need a denim needle for this. I have a feeling this is waterproof. And this one is, whoa, 60 inches wide. And it's about 2 yards. Let's see. Yeah, it's 2 yards. This one is very, very thick. Let's see. Oh my. This, I bet you it's waterproof. I mean, this alone, this fabric, this piece here is way more than, I mean, at $10 for everything. I don't mean $10 for each piece. I mean $10 for everything I'm showing you. She met me in a parking lot because her house was so far away that she had to go do errands. And so we just agreed to meet somewhere. She gave me the bag. And I'm just like, whoa, that much for $10? And then this red one. And again, I don't use red very much. This is another 60 wide. And whoa. And it's about 2 yards left on this. Oh. It's heavy just to fold it. It's super, super thick canvas fabric. And then, oh, this is very pretty. This has a very vintagey look to it. This kind of style was really big in the 80s. I sewed with this style of florals in the 80s a lot. Like I made my sofa covers and pillows and everything. It's only about a yard, but it would make a beautiful bags. Very pretty tote bags out of this one. And again, this kind, you don't need to quilt it. This is the pros to this. You don't need to quilt it. You can use all kinds of straps. It's very sturdy, strong. And you can also, you don't have to line it if you don't want to. I sometimes want to line it in case it gets dirty in the inside. It's easier to pull out the lining and clean the lining. But typically for these, you don't even have to do that. You can just use binding tape on the seams. Or, you know, whatever you have. Then this one here, not quite my style. Not really the colors I like. I think, yeah, you could make a bag where, hold on, where, over here. So you can make a bag where the circle, the mandala thingy, is in the middle. So you would make the bag with that as being the centerpiece. So the center of the bag, so your front center would be like this. So someone would like that. What I'm thinking of for this one, it's a lot like denim. It feels a lot like denim. Is to cut these out and use them as applique on the jeans, on the jean bags and stuff. So actually, you know, make more use out of it. This one is Solar Flare Authentically Waverly Modern Essentials, 100% cotton, dry clean only. All right, so that, and a lot of these don't have any, you know, printing on them so that I can tell you on the salvage. All right. But still, this is $10 for everything in this pile, and we're still going. So this was like probably my favorite haul of the week. Yeah, I love it when my Marshall's Dry Goods and Michaels sends me, you know, my big box of fabrics that I buy from them. But this is funner. I'm telling you, this is funner. Now, Marshall Dry Goods is having a really good sale right now, by the way, on stuff that they're getting rid of. This is a tiny strip of this, which would make perfect handles. See that? It would make perfect handles, but it would also make really pretty additions to jean bags or jeans themselves or whatever, you know. So if I'm upcycling, making a skirt out of a pair of jeans and use these for pockets and stuff like that. And then another little tiny piece here. I had to take all the scraps, so that's fine. That makes good handles again. Another little piece, again, beautiful handles it would make. Or pockets. This would make really nice pockets. It's another smaller piece. And this again, this one is Bryant Industries, Bryant Guard, 8-7. It's about a half a yard. Little tougher to design and sew with because when you're sewing on lines that are going up and down like this, you have to make sure that they're always straight. You don't get them crooked. That's the only thing I don't like about that kind of directional stuff. This one is, again, this looks like Bryant Industries again. Yeah. They're calling it Marlin Linen. It's way thicker than a linen. It's about 1.5 yards. It's a beautiful color. This sorry, try not to talk when I put the fabric in front of my face. This fabric is very much a vintage color too. So that works in my world. And it doesn't mean I have to stick to everything exactly, right? And of course, how useful is this? Two yards of muslin, thick upholstery fabric, kind of like a muslin color, like a drop cloth, but way thicker than a drop cloth. It's about 2 yards of this one. Woo! I think I'm gonna do my, so that was it. So let me show you again, in case you came in late. All of this for $10 total. That was a super good deal. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and go into, so I don't have to make another video about it, for the next batch that I bought. Now this one I wasn't as happy about, but still a lot happier than I was on, if you were watching my flannel, the video where I showed the flannel container I bought, which I wasn't super excited about. But now I am, because I have a stack. Where did I put that stack? Okay, so I have a stack of flannels, if you watch that video on one of my hauls where I bought. So anyway, you can watch the video. First I bought from her, it's the same lady. I went down, I paid 30, no, she wanted 60 for a whole bunch of fabric. I went down, it was 2 big garbage bags full, and I offered her 50, and she took the 50, I think. You have to watch the video to make sure. I don't think she took 40. No, it was 40. She wanted 40 for all of the flannels. That's what it was. So I think I did 60 for her 2 big, huge of brand new Joann's fabrics, like, and lots and lots of it. I had to make more room up there for some of it. I can't remember. I have some up here, and there's all my Marshall's dry goods stuff that just came in. I just finished bolting it. So I went down there. So I got these 2 big black garbage bags full of fabrics, which I was so excited about. And then, I did a video on that. Then she said she had minky fabric, and I never wanted to buy minky before, but this other lady, I had to take her minky. It was included in the $5 box that I got. If you watch the video where I got for $5, got this gigantic box of fabric, and then a plastic bag full of minky dots. And I thought, what in the world will I do with minky dots? And then, so I asked GPT what I could do with minky dots, and I named him Ron, by the way. So Ron says back to me, oh, you can make the heavy weighted eye masks, because the little bumps is so soft and it's good on their face. You can make those things that go around your neck. You stick them in the microwave. They're filled with rice, and then you put them around your neck and to warmers, the neck warmers. So there's all kinds of things, right? So I'm like, oh, okay. So I thought, okay, well, I'll take your minky, because I can do that with it. And and then my granddaughter wanted she had some faux fur, so she wanted that she makes masks. So I got all that for like $20, and I came home and it was like another huge bag of just so much stuff. Well, then she had all her flannels, and she said, come back, I want to sell my flannels for 40. And I had made friends with her by this time and everything. So I went back down there, and I thought, I don't really want flannels, and I don't really like flannels. And usually when people are selling flannels, it's a bunch of baby stuff, and I don't do the baby niche. And I'm thinking, I don't know. And I thought, well, whatever. It's better if I get it than someone else, because I can probably still sell it on eBay. Even the kids stuff I could sell on eBay. So I went ahead and got it, brought it home. I did a video on that. So you can watch that. But I put a pile of fabrics that I could use, like for linings and book sleeves and things like that. And then, of course, the eye masks and other things I can make that are good for our bodies. And then a pile that I definitely would not use, like super baby stuff, right? But I did tell her I didn't want any licensed stuff, because I do this to resell. So no Disney. She had a bunch of Minions, so I couldn't touch that. I wouldn't even be tempted in doing that. So no, I'm not touching the Minions. She could sell that to somebody else. And so I had this pile that I showed you guys of the fabrics that I'm never going to use. And then I thought, well, I have some babies still coming. I have my 14th grandchild on its way. But then I thought, and then I just learned the other day when I just bought, so for my book sleeves, I like to do quilted book sleeves. So I use batting, right? And then I don't like to use the interfacing. I like to use the batting and do the quilting. But if I want them thicker and I don't want to do, there's some fabrics that I don't want to do the quilting on, or maybe sell them for a little bit less. So I watched a video where she uses a foam type of fabric. So I got that from her link on Amazon. So that's coming in a couple of days. And so I ordered that. And so that would be nice. And that can still be quilted if I, wanted to. But then I heard her say, well, and then I watched another book sleeve video, and she said, you can use whatever you want in between. Let's just pretend this is a book sleeve. She's like, you can use whatever you want in between the, to make it absorbent. So if you're using it for a Kindle or an iPad and it falls, hopefully it doesn't break. Anyway, she said you can use flannel. So just take some pieces of flannel and layer them, and then just quilt those. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do with all that flannel. I will be able to upcycle it. I'm so happy. All right. So this lady had wanted $30 for all of this that I'm going to show you next. And I bought it from her before. She's the one that sold me the $5 box. And that box, it was huge. I couldn't even carry it. I had to ask my son to carry it in my house. That's how big it was and how full it was. And if you watch that video, it had a lot of knits in it. So she probably didn't think that they were worth anything, which some of them are not, but I can still use them. And then she's also the one that sold me the 4 bolts of fabric for $5 a bolt that I made the princess bags from. If you watch that video. Anyway, so those bolts each were $10 a yard in the store. And I counted them, and they had between 7 and 9 yards per bolt. And I got them all for $5 per bolt. So for $20, 5, 10, 50, for $20, I got 4 bolts. It was crazy. It was such a good deal. So I figured, okay, she's got this up on Facebook, so I'm going to say, yes, I'll get it. And so I just gave her what she wanted, which was 30. And then I was like, this is a little bit more disappointing than the flannel one was, which I paid 40 to her for the flannels, which that was the third. She made a lot of money off of it. Anyway, that's fine. It's fine. I'm happy for her. So anyway, so there's a lot in here okay, so we're just going to go through it. And there's not as much. There's a lot of scraps. So that was part of the problem. But I'll just show you. So first, she had a whole bolt, which is probably worth the $30, of lemons, which obviously I love, love, love. This is from Joann's. This is Super Snuggle. And it's flannel. Very popular fabric for grown-ups. And this can be lining. So flannel can be lining. It would make it nice, right? A tote bag nice in the inside would make it feel good. So again, this would be cute for the eye weights, the weights that you put over your eyes. And, they have like rice, or there's another thing that you put in. I can't remember the name, but I watched a lady do it on YouTube. And you have to make little pockets all the way down. And then in each pocket, you're pouring that stuff in there. And that stuff is like hypoallergenic, all that. The only problem with rice is if it gets wet, it could get moldy, right? So anyway, this is like an alternative to that, but it was difficult. It's like broken glass, and it's difficult to sew with because it can break your needles if you don't have it out of the way. And she's a professional sewer, and she still breaks her needles. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But anyway, so this is a lot. So let's go see, let's measure. I got to push this guy out of my way. And let's measure this and see what this one is. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, pretty good deal, 5, ooh, I can make a lot, 6, so it's a whole bolt, 6, 7, it's a little over 7 yards. It's about 7.5 yards. Now, so that right there is worth $30, right? But again, I teach you before about perceived value. So to you who want to work with flannels, this is a steal, just this, right? But to me, even though it is a super, super good deal, it's not my prized possession of a fabric. So I didn't get as excited about, like, I won't get as excited about that as I would about what I just showed you tonight for the $10 for everything and something like that, okay? So just like to put it into perspective, right? Anyway, what a steal that was, right? Then this is another one I liked. This one here is, no, just keep saying, not intended for children's sleepwear. It's a flannel and it's 2 yards, but I don't see a name or anything on here. No, but anyway, it's 2 yards. And again, a lot of things that even for adults, I can do with this. Even book sleeves are like, because they're so soft. Wouldn't you like a book sleeve and had it quilted down each one of these, or like each one of these maybe lines right here, and have this quilted and have a book sleeve with it, which is nice and soft. You can go on an airplane and use it for your pillow. And then she had this one, which is like a linen. This says, let's see. This is Brother Sister Design Studio. And if you were watching the other video when I went through her other fabrics, she had some from Brother Sister Design Studio. This is 2 yards. And this is valuable to me, even though I said I don't like the directional stripes as much, but this kind of pinstriping is very vintagey, right? But this one is thick material that make really, really good tote bags. Or you could use this. This would be really nice if you open up the seam in the jeans, in your jeans, when you're redoing a jean. And let's say I go from the knee down and then take this and flare the jean and turn it into a bell bottom, which is super in. If you like Lainey Wilson, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now let's go to the other ones that she had here. I'm gonna flip this over. So this one here was nice. And it was a lot. Super wide. It's like, I don't know, 100 and something. It's 100 and something wide. And it's about 2.5 yards. This is going to go really good. So I got to tell you a funny story. I made the princess bags. Let me show you. I got the princess material right here. This was $5 for the entire bolt. And I was like, if you watch the video where I got this from the same lady here, that I said, I had to buy this because she was only going to sell all 4 boats at one time. $5, but you had to take this one. I'm like, ugh. And so I first said, it's not licensed. And then I looked, it's not licensed. And I thought, yeah, but it's not my niche. And I'm not going to get into the selling to the kids. Or to the parents of kids. And so when I came home, I'm like, oh, but I have a granddaughter who's having a birthday. She's turning 8 and she lives with me, but she hates pink. So I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. Well, then my other daughter called me and anyway, my other granddaughter's turning 3 and she is a little princess. So I said, can I make her a tote bag? And my daughter said, oh, she would just absolutely love her. So I made her a tote bag. Then one of my really good friends, her daughter, who's best friends with the 8-year-old granddaughter I have, is having her birthday and she's turning 7 and she's a princess and she loves pink. So I already made her tote bag. So there are, so I thought, okay, so anyway, let me tell you the funny story. So my granddaughter, after I sewed the two princess bags, she comes into my sewing room office and she says, "Oh, what are you doing, Mimi?" And I said, "Oh, look at this cute little bag that I made for your best friend." And she said, "Oh," and she looked all sad and everything. And she goes, "Well, I just had my birthday. Why didn't you make me one?" I said, "Because you don't like princesses and you don't like pink. So why would I do that? So you get mad at me when you open the gift." And she goes, "Oh." And she starts looking around at all my fabrics. And I said, "Let's pick out a fabric." I said, "Do you want a bag?" And she goes, "Yes." I said, "Okay, let's pick out a fabric." So it happened to be this lady's stash. And this was in there. And my granddaughter says, "Can you make me a tote bag out of camo?" And then this would be the lining. And I'm like, perfect, because I don't make anything with camo. So anyway, so I got this camo was in that container. Let's see. We've got 3 yards of this. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And so she's all excited about that. Anyway, so those 2 pieces will come in useful for that, right? Then she had this flannel, which is, I don't drink coffee. This is from Joann's, super snuggly. But a lot of people do. And, so it might come in useful to make a tote bag out of that. I love this one here. This was a good one. This is from Joann's, right? Yeah, keepsake calico from Joann's. So this one, which I got a lot of, remember I got a lot of keepsake from the other lady, is about 2 yards. It's about 2 yards. And that's definitely something I can work with, even though I don't do a lot in oranges and reds. That one will work. Then this piece here, so this was 2 pieces. This one here, this is right up my alley. The yellow polka dots are so good in my niche. So I got 1 piece here, which is like almost 1 yard there. And then another piece, like not even, maybe 1/4 yard. So not very much, but certainly enough to do a lining in a tote bag. And then my favorite, I don't drink alcohol, but I love St. Patrick's Day. So this is almost 3 yards. And I'm thinking next year, this would be really fun. Even if I don't make anything with it, but in my Everfey, yeah, I think I'm going to end up, I wanted to keep it and make a tablecloth out of it for St. Patrick's Day dinner. But now that I think about it, my Everfey is all about mythical creatures and leprechauns and fairies, so the mushrooms, so it's all perfect. So I'll most likely do book sleeves because I have a book niche in the FAIRYCORE in my shop, FAIRYCORE. This one was fun. This one is it's like only 1 yard, a little bit more. It's kind of a crepey fabric. Can you see them? And I'm thinking scrunchies because it scrunches so nice. And I can get quite a few scrunchies out of that piece. And that was 1 piece. And then there was another piece of the same thing right here. Yeah, this is really nice. This is Doodles, designed in Hudson, Ohio for Joann's. So this one, I could certainly, this is a nice fabric for scrunchies. So that's probably what I'll do with it, because I think you could still, because I make extra large scrunchies, so you could still see the little crabs, right? They're so cute. This was right up my alley. So this heart fabric here, super, super good for the projects that I do. This one here is Valentine's Day, designed in Hudson, Ohio, exclusively for Joann's. And there is, oh good, there are 2 yards. Might be a little bit more than 2 yards. Let's see. I might have gotten that No, I don't know, because it looks like it might be cut already. Let's see. One, no, it's 2.5. So 2.5, but still great for linings. Yeah, that's a nice piece. So now, what do you think? Do you think I've reached $30 worth yet? Do you think that's good enough? This piece here was like it's like a felt piece. I think she was like making a lot of costumes for her kids. And again, felt is a good lining, and it's also good to use, like I discovered, as batting. So that will come in useful. Then this piece here, I really like this one. This one's again another Joann's. Oh, let's go the right way, this way, right? So yeah, this is directional. But wouldn't that make beautiful book sleeves and maybe tote bags? It might be, I don't know, what do you think? Might be too big of a design for book sleeves. But like going for your summer reading next year on the beach or something, you bring this with you. Super cool. And then she had a bunch of these snuggle fabrics, little pieces like this. Again, these make fabric. I don't think for flannel would make good, what do you call it? Good handles. So I don't think I would do that. So it's about, almost a yard there. Something I never work with is cow print. I love cows, but I don't like cow print. I like leopards, not cow. So I'll never use this one. I'll just gift that to somebody who wants to use it. Okay, now we get to the more scrappier pieces. Do you think though, now for the bigger pieces, do you think I got to $30? And like, I think so, right? And like I said, it's perceived value. Am I going to use enough of it to validate spending 30 versus what I'm not going to use? I think, so for instance, let's look at this. This pile here, I'm going to use. This pile here, I'm going to use. So yeah, I think I could say it was a good expense. And I didn't have to drive far. It was like on my way home one day from somewhere. Got this tiny, tiny piece of this, which is so adorable. And this one, tiny piece of this. I love this. Just some little scraps here. I don't need to show you those. Little piece of this. Super popular right now with young women. Super popular. But there's not very much there. So I'd have to do probably a scrunchies or, oh, I know. I'll make wristlets. This is what will be, yeah, I'll make wristlets. That'll be perfect for wristlets. Tiny piece of this. Tiny piece of this. Oh, I had this from the 80s. Little piece of scrap. Another tiny piece. This I don't think I can do anything with. It's the mermaid flannel thing. It's not really flannel. It's kind of like flannel. It's pretty much cut up. I think she already made the costumes and everything for the kids out of this. Well, you never know. I'll put it in the maybe pile. I don't do much with Christmas. Not that I don't love Christmas. I'm just too busy. I used to sew, like I told you in my journey video, that I sewed everything for my children. And at Christmas time, I sewed and sewed and sewed. And I think I just kind of burnt myself out over the years over Christmas stuff. So I do print on demand. I make ornaments and pretty much that's it. Because I like to do evergreen projects. And so then she also had this Christmassy flannel thing, which I'm not going to use. And then this I'm not going to use. So I might just put it together as a lot and sell it on eBay. And then I'm not really into chickens and roosters, but I know a lot of people are, so I might do like a, but no, I don't think I will, because the problem when you make one thing, it takes so long after you make it to list it. And, each listing takes like 30. So that's my time. And I can only sell, like with my upcycling ones, I will like, if I buy a scarf at a thrift store or I find one of my own that I don't need anymore and I make, let's say I can only make 2 scrunchies out of it. I sell the scrunchies for $18. Then my time, and then let's say I paid $2 for it. That gets kind of scary even for that. And then the time it takes me to list it and then get it ready to mail out and weigh it and get the postage and put the label on. So it's a lot more than just, what people think. That I don't think most people realize. This piece I won't use. And then we have a couple more I won't use. So this I will just give to one of my granddaughters to play with. This was in there, and I'm certainly not going to use this. I'll just give this to my little princess granddaughter to play with, or maybe make her something out of that. And then this piece here, I don't really use that bright green, so I don't know about that. And then this, definitely not me. But yeah, super vintagey, right? But it's not something, look, yeah, how's that? How's that? So I could just give that to one of my granddaughters for their playroom when they play dress up. So that's it. That's what I got. So now when we look at it all, I wish I could just pan it, but I like to talk to you with my face. So I'm not doing a lot of those videos where the camera's over here and I'm showing you underneath the camera, because then you can't see me, right? So anyway, I don't know. I think that was a good one. So now next week I'm picking up that big container of jeans. Another lady, I'm picking up a big container of jeans that gave it to me really low. Like, no, she's giving me 16 pairs of perfect condition jeans for $30. So I'm getting them less than $2. And some of them are overalls. Overalls are amazing. So overalls, if you're doing resale, super good, because people that work need overalls. So you can always get your money back and make a profit on selling used overalls. But overalls also have so much denim that we can use in upcycling. So for me, it's always this balancing act of, do I make the money right now and get it back? Or do I save it and make what I want later on? So it's hard to know, right, what to do all the time. It's always decisions. And then I bought a huge bolt, which I'm picking up on Thursday. I already paid for it. She's just holding it for me because I can't get up. It's like a 40-minute drive, but I'm going up there. So I live in Provo and she's up by Salt Lake. And so it's like a 40-minute drive. And so I only go to those places to do pickups when I'm up there. So next week I have to be up there to go to a thrift store and also to take my granddaughters out. 3 of my granddaughters I'm taking out with me. We want to go to the sports store up there and sporting goods store and some other things that we want to do up there. There's their favorite place to get boba teas. And so I'm going to bring them there. So I told the ladies, like, if I pay you now with Venmo, will you just hold it for me until Thursday, which is like a week from when I found it? And they're fine. So this one lady goes to auction. So anyway, she has this, I'll show you, I'll do a video on it. She sold a faux leather bolt, but it's like that, the big bolts. And she was asking $240 for it for a long time. And then she dropped it. Not very many people are going to pick that up. And I knew that. So I was kind of like just waiting. And then she dropped it to like 200 or 220 and then 200. And I just kept watching it. And so she finally dropped it to like 175. And so I messaged her and said I'd take it for 140. And it's a lot of yardage. I can't remember. She told me how many yards, but I can't remember. But it's a lot. It was like I'm getting it for like $2 a yard or something compared to like, no, maybe I'm getting it for $5 a yard. Yeah. Compared to like $17 or $18 a yard for what that particular one goes for. So anyway, it's so much fun doing this stuff. So if you ever have any questions about this, just let me know. And I am so happy to answer your questions. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.